Greetings everyone, it's Seven from London and I'm coming back with another video. Today I have a really important announcement in regards to the Tribunal of Natural and Common Law for Public Health and Justice. Now, many of you who have been watching my videos over the last year or so will be aware that I co-founded the Natural and Common Law Tribunal for Public Health and Justice along with Alfred Labamont Weber. Now, this is a really important announcement to inform you all that the Tribunal for Natural and Common Law for Public Health and Justice has been compromised. It is no longer the tribunal that we founded for the people, by the people. Basically, as a co-founder, unfortunately, it shocked me to the core to discover that the tribunal had been infiltrated by the deep state, and also that my co-founder, somebody who I had very high esteem for, a lot of love for, worked with for 6 years prior, has also been compromised, and that is my co-founder, Alfred Labamont Weber. Now, we conducted an investigation. The investigation basically looked into the fact that tribunal judges were being removed without any due process, no investigation, no internal inquiry, nothing. They basically received an email and was removed. And basically, slander, defamation, malicious lies were told about people to remove them. Now, this has also happened to me. Even as a co-founder, there was no investigation, there was nothing. None of these judges did anything wrong. These were honorable people who gave of their time, their energy to help to get the tribunal recognized. I worked around the clock last year, all throughout 2020. We co-founded the tribunal on the 26th of March last year and worked round the clock. I mean, I literally was working non-stop without sleep to get the tribunal recognized. And unfortunately, Alfred Labamont Weber, he brought people into the tribunal who were COINTELPRO. And those of you who don't know what COINTELPRO is, it's basically operatives that work for the deep state. Now, one by one, tribunal judges were being removed without any investigation, one by one, particularly those who were vaccine experts and people who had expertise in regards to the whole COVID situation. And one by one, I had to go through all these statements and emails, and I've created a website where you can actually look at a judgment and an order which was issued after the investigation was concluded on the 14th of June. We concluded that guilty as charged. Unfortunately, the evidence doesn't lie. So I want to show you the tribunal that has been investigated so that you all know that it's entirely corrupt. Now, there's another issue that I want to share with you, and that is the donations. Donations have been given to this tribunal, and the donations are not going where you have sent the money to. Many of you people, good people, have donated and even donated for me. And basically, these donations are being kept fraudulently unfortunately, by Alfred. I don't know what's happened to Alfred. He's completely changed. He's mistreated, he's abused, he's been really nasty to a lot of people, and it broke my heart. I didn't really want to even believe it because I've worked with him for so long and I had so much respect for him that I really didn't want to even go there. But unfortunately, after many complaints came in, we looked at the testimonies and oral and also statements by 13 tribunal judges and 5 other people outside the tribunal. and it's conclusive that it is entirely corrupt. I'm saying to everybody, do not support the Tribunal for Natural Health and Justice being run by Alfred Labermont Weber, because it is controlled by the deep state. He has screamed at, yelled at, mistreated many, many people, and these people complained to me because I was the co-founder. And obviously, somebody that was so close to Alfred, I didn't really want to see him in that light because I had so much respect for him. Unfortunately, as I went through all the evidence and we conducted resolution meetings to try to bring all tribunal judges to the table, including Alfred, which he basically refused to go. It was conclusive. It was conclusive. And this evidence is actually within the actual final judgment, so that you can go onto the website, you can have a look, read through the final judgment, and also look at the order. Now, the order in particular addresses a number of things. First of all, it addresses the fact that multiple judges were removed by way of malicious slander, telling lies about people in order to remove them one by one. There was no investigation. Other judges were not notified of why these people were being removed. These people were just slandered and removed. And then basically they tried to do that tactic to me. And so obviously, not on my watch, not on my watch. I busted my ass to build this tribunal for a whole year and some, and only to find that it has been handed over to the deep state. It's been handed over to the deep state. And unfortunately, people have been badly mistreated. Badly mistreated. The corruption involved in this tribunal, there's no due process being used, there's no law being used, people are being absolutely violated and absolutely not happening on my watch. So I want to just quickly show you where you can actually go to see the tribunal final judgment and the order. And then I'll talk a little bit about that before I sign off. Deep apologies to everybody who supported the tribunal. It breaks my heart more than it will break yours. But I have to say to you, do not, and I repeat, do not support the tribunal that Alfred Labermont is running. It is deep state and it is abusive to people. The actual function of the tribunal is very necessary in this state of the whole COVID crisis. There's a lot of violations being done to people in regards to the vaccinations, the masks that are being asked to use, people to use, the lockdowns. It's all very, very, it's wrong, it's wrong. And so we put together the tribunal in order to protect all of you, to protect all of you good people around the world, and to see that this tribunal is operating without any form of conscience, abusing people, abusing the people that were professionals that we reached out to, Alfred Labermont Weber and myself. We basically started the tribunal on the 26th of March, 2020. And by November, we decided to conduct hearings. So we reached out to a lot of professionals, and shout out to all the professionals, particularly those who have been mistreated and removed. My heart goes out to you. I am deeply, deeply sorry for what's happened to you. Now, we reached out to a number of professionals, experts in the area of vaccines, medicine, etc., all around expertise in regards to the COVID situation, looking at the evidence and people providing their evidence. Some of these people's evidence was censored, like Dr. Rebello. He was one of the first people to be removed. And he flagged up corruption from January. However, when I brought it to the table, I was told that Dr. Leo Rebello, who's actually an expert, was mentally challenged. That's what I was told about him. That's defamation, and it's malicious slander. When I brought it to the table, because I have so much respect for Alfred, Alfred was the chief judge. So as a senior member of the tribunal, he was involved in the decision-making process. And so, you know, we took the lead from Alfred. However, Alfred has been compromised by people who was whispering lies in his ears to remove judges systematically, one by one. These judges were being picked off. Ingrid Cassell, there's a number of people that were removed using defamation of character. And there were some tribunal judges that they tried to remove, and I blocked them. People like Mark Steele, who's a 5G weapons expert. Many people were complaining to get him off the tribunal. I knew he was a good man. I knew that his work was excellent. So I actually supported him and didn't want him to be removed. However, because they wanted to infiltrate the tribunal and control it and control Alfred Lavamont-Weber, behind my back, they created what's called an executive administration team to control Alfred. And basically what that did was 3 people were around Alfred Lavamont-Weber, created this team which removed all the other judges from the decision-making process. And meetings were conducted without my knowledge. I had no involvement in the creation of this executive administration team. And basically, it was entirely corrupt. And then before I knew it, lies and defamation were being used to remove me. And so, an investigation has been conducted, and you can see the outcome. And it's important that anybody who is supporting this tribunal or remotely involved in the Tribunal of Natural Health and Justice, natural and common law for public health and justice, anybody who's remotely involved in that, you need to look at this final judgment. It is conclusive. The evidence doesn't lie. Let me show it to you now. Okay. You can find this website if you go to lawtribunal.hnsto, lawtribunal.h for happy, N for November, S for sugar, .to. You don't need all the www dots. You just put in lawtribunal.hns.to. Now, this is the website. If you go onto these links at the bottom here, you'll see the final judgment and the tribunal order. So there's a short video, it's about 7 minutes long from me here, where I make a public announcement explaining exactly what I'm explaining to you now. And if you look at this final judgment, I'll just click on it and you'll see. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So it's a final judgment by myself supporting the mistreated, abused tribunal judges. And it is to Alfred Lavamont-Weber, sadly, and also, excuse me, also the executive administration team that I mentioned earlier. Now, there's a brief summary. There's 70 pages actually, and if you go through this document, you'll be able to see, because it's highlighted in red, the statements of tribunal judges. and you can scroll through and actually see some of the judges' statements. And these statements are absolutely damning. They're absolutely damning. There is no way that these statements can stand and not be addressed. Alfred is refusing to address anything, anyone and anything. He's not been behaving like himself. He's completely out of character. So it's important that you look at what has happened with the situation. There's a statement from Kemet Imani. And so I would advise you, if you don't want to read the whole document, I would say just have a look at some of the statements and testimonies. I will read you one from John and Bonnie because there are many, Rebello. Okay, let me actually go back and get some of, I'll start with a Rebello so you can actually see, get an idea. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's very, very long. But anyway, it says, so this is one from Lena, which basically highlighted the fact that Alfred was bringing in judges without due process. And one of the judges that he brought in had a page which had sexually explicit images of women on his page. And Alfred didn't take what Lena was saying, and Lena had to resign. And Lena Poo is a 5G expert. She's an amazing woman. Shout out to Lena. And unfortunately, we lost a very good judge because I believe Alfred didn't look at the situation fairly. And unfortunately, because of it, we lost Lena Poo. But anyway, this is a statement from Leo Rebello from India. He says, final say on corrupt Alfred Labamont Weber for his and Rima Leibar's removal. This is since 6th of February. He's basically flagging up. He says, attention, all ye good judges in this group, do stand up and right the wrong. Remove Alfred as founder and Rima Leibar from manipulations and corrupt practices, falsifying records and dictatorship. Now, this is the kind of thing that has repeatedly been reiterated again and again and again by people who are honorable judges. And now this man was actually, when I raised it to the table about Leo Rebello, Dr. Leo Rebello, I was told that he was mentally challenged and there's nothing that you could do for him. However, when you actually look at some of the evidence, you'll see that this man, far from being mentally challenged, he was absolutely respected by many people. It says, dear Leo, thank you for your love, vast knowledge and hard work and bravery for sharing my emails and keeping the conversation open and accountable. Basically, it was in terms of Dr. Leo Rebello's work, this man has been repeatedly flagged up again and again as a brilliant man. He says, I will share everywhere. Your writings are brilliant and cover everything so thoroughly. Well done, thank you. That's to Leo Rebello, a man that they stated was mentally challenged. It was a lie. It was a lie in order to remove him. This is from another judge, Betty, who tried to get Dr. Leo Rebello's evidence submitted into the tribunal. And she wrote, I sent it to Alfred in Canada and they censored it. Didn't like what I was saying. If I had no mail, if I have to mail it to everyone on the list, I will. Somebody has got to stop these demons. They are trying to stop everything you say. Just let me know if you get it and I'll send it to some others. So that's from Betty in regards to Leo Ribello, somebody I was told was mentally challenged. It was a lie. He was being censored. Now, when I asked in the investigation, you know, why Dr. Leo Ribello was removed, he said it is Alfred and his girlfriend, Rima Leibau, a rich widow who was trying to hook me, flaunting her big boobs, who ganged up to remove me. So basically, this was reiterated by another judge, basically that, dear Leo, you should probably know I am no longer involved in the tribunal. I am sorry for involving you since it proved to be a problem with Alfred acting as a dictator by making decisions without consulting the other judges, no conflict resolution attempted, eliminating people without due process. Again, this was reiterated by another judge. And all of these judges were excellent people who were systematically removed one by one. Now, this is a statement from Sister Kemet Imani, who was actually involved in the early stages of the hearing. She sat on the 15th of November in a tribunal hearing, but she didn't continue as a judge, but she was seated on the 15th of November 2020 tribunal hearing. Now, I absolutely love Sister Kemet Imani. There was a situation in April, the 13th of April 2020, where Alfred asked me to set up a meeting in regards to St. Vincent. And if you look at my Brighton channel, you'll see a video that I made on the same day with a tribesman called Tonic Man from St. Vincent. Now, this is at the time when the volcano had erupted in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Caribbean. And basically, their government was saying that they should take mandatory vaccines. Anybody who wanted to be rescued had to take a mandatory vaccine. And so Alfred asked me to reach out to some people in St. Vincent, and that's how I managed to get hold of the tribesman who I later interviewed. Now, as Alfred had asked me to do, I reached out to Kemet, who was doing a relief effort. She put together 70 barrels of food and clothes for the people in St. Vincent. Amazing with Gail and Owen and other people, good people. And basically, I reached out to her to attend a meeting to help St. Vincent, only to find out that her mother and her sister was there. Anyway, basically, at this particular meeting, Alfred ended up getting really upset and shouting at Kemet within the meeting. He had no compassion, sadly, for the fact that she was under a great deal of stress doing these barrels for St. Vincent people, and the fact that her family were in St. Vincent as well, whilst the whole crisis was unfolding. And so she was very upset after the meeting. Now, Kemet wrote a statement to Alfred and the tribunal judges, because after Alfred had insulted and shouted at Kemet, he sought to remove me as a tribunal judge. He didn't seek to remove her, but remove me. And basically, I had nothing to do with the argument. I wasn't arguing with anyone. He was arguing with Kemet Imani. Now, this is a statement of exactly what happened at that meeting. And you will see from her statement that it was Alfred who was arguing. And he has been arguing with a number of people in meetings whereby I had been apologizing for him, because the stress levels as a tribunal judge to put the paperwork together, etc., is a lot of work for somebody who's a senior person. So when he ended up having an outburst or shouting at people, I always apologized on his behalf. He never once apologized and refuses to apologize to any of these people that he shouted at to this day. Now, I don't know if he wanted me to also abuse Kemi Imani, but I refuse to do so. She's my sister. I absolutely love her. And I had absolute sensitivity for and compassion for the fact that her family were in St. Vincent. However, she's put together an email and he didn't address any of it. Alfred didn't address any of it. He responded by saying, and this is deeply, deeply racist. He responded by saying that he answered Kemet Imani and Tonic Man, because Tonic Man, the tribesman, also wrote a statement, which is in this final judgment as well. But he responded by saying that myself and the tribesman, who I didn't know at all up until interviewing him, which was basically for about maybe an hour before the interview with him. He had no involvement in the tribunal, but this man actually stated that me and this man called Tonic Man could actually do the tribunal's publicity. Instead of me being the co-founder, I'm the co-founder. And he basically was telling me that I should do the tribunal's, be the tribunal's runner along with the tribesman. This is equivalent to a CEO of a company telling them to go into the kitchen and clean the dishes. This was an absolute insult. And if you read these emails, you'll see that what was stated and the way that we have been treated is absolute racism. So I want you to look at all of this stuff. I want to actually show you as well. I'm sort of speeding through it because there's so much here. And, you know, I encourage everybody to take the time to look at it. So this is another email from another man. This is basically in April of 2021, who wrote this statement saying, Alfred Labermont's defamation, angry man actions with attachment, proposed tribunal of conscience. Dear tribunal judges, this email is to politely decline the invitation to be a tribunal judge on Alfred Labermont Weber's Alfred's Tribunal of Conscience. It was actually both of our tribunal because we both co-founded it. You will find a lot of videos of me and Alfred and I should say, launching the tribunal together from March to 2020. It was just Alfred and I up until November 2020. And so equally, I am a co-founder, which he ceases to acknowledge, which is quite interesting. But this man, whose name is John Christina, says, Dear tribunal judges, this email is to politely decline the invitation to be a tribunal judge on Alfred Labermont Weber's Alfred's Tribunal of Conscience that he offered me the opportunity when he was invited to be a guest at the European Coalition Task Force. Alfred invited me to make a presentation to the judges listed here on the email list, and all judges here received that email. On February the 26th, 2021, Alfred invited me again 1 week ago in March 29th, 2021, and I politely, professionally declined. Alfred Labermont Weber then responded by attacking me, defaming me, calling me mind control and part of deep state because I declined. I'm notifying you because my experience with Alfred Labermont Weber last week, I believe he will lie to you and libel me. then you might libel me based on Alfred's defamation. It is not a defense to repeat defamation, even if you believe it. And then he provides evidence of various exhibits of what took place in that situation. Now, I want to share with you again another testimony from Judges John and Bonnie. You know, I mean, it doesn't bring me any pleasure to do this, but it's necessary because people are being abused, people are being hurt. Alfred doesn't seem to understand that you can't treat people in this way. And I have tried, and many people have tried to reason and appeal to his better state of judgment and personality, but unfortunately, it has been impossible. He's completely compromised and controlled at this point. Now, I want to read you this. It says, this is basically John and Bonnie. Okay, let me rewind. A tribunal judge called Galactic Clyde, seeing all this scandalous stuff happening, decided to create a peace and resolution meeting and invite myself and Alfred as co-founders, along with all the judges, to discuss, to see how we could, you know, remedy the situation, because people were being moved wrongfully, unlawfully, without any due process, including myself. And so Galactic Clyde Harris, he decided it would be a good idea to bring everybody to a table to peacefully organize a meeting. In fact, let me read you Clyde's email inviting everybody, including Alfred, because this email was twisted to become a completely different set of circumstances to attack people. Okay, so let me just see. Urgent, calling emergency resolution meeting to all judges of the tribunal. We are entering a slippery slope of passing judgments to others if we cannot take care of our own affairs. So basically he says, let me just skip forward. If we cannot set a great example as tribunals, then we are giving the architects of this pandemic fuel for their flames of destruction. And so, you know, what he's essentially saying is that you have to fix your own house before you can go around indicting other people and telling other people, even though obviously what the tribunal seeks to do is valid. And we do have a pandemic, and there are violators of people using COVID-19. That is a fact. However, if you are running a tribunal and abusing the people within the tribunal and not addressing that, but you're still going about, you know, pointing the finger at other people, we have to start with ourselves. We have to treat everybody with respect. And although the tribunal's role in serving indictments and cease and desist orders to people is absolutely valid, you cannot ignore when people are being abused by yourself. So, you know, it says it cannot, this is from Galactic Clyde, it cannot be great for the world to think that a group of tribunal judges cannot access and deal with external affairs if their own internal affairs cannot be sorted. That's a fact. And so, unfortunately, Alfred refused to come. He refused to come. And he was, you know, by the handlers within the executive administration branch, it was actually advised that no tribunal judge should go to such a meeting. Now, basically, after Galactic Clyde Harris wrote that email, he was removed as a tribunal judge. He was removed as a tribunal judge, along with John and Bonnie, who designed the tribunal's logo. Now, I want to show you that, and then I want to, so they were removed. Then after they removed, because basically there was a whole shocking scandal about what was taking place, people being removed, judges being removed, they backpedaled and they made it look like they started asking for judges' resignations after they'd already removed people. So I'm showing you all that so that this is in some context, so that you get some context for what you're about to see. You know, a lie was told to say that I set up the meeting with the tribunal judges. In fact, it was Galactic Clyde, as you saw from that email. So basically, it says, I, John Mitchell, have the screen recording for every single judge Zoom meeting that we attended. If I were to edit all parts together where this user of people, Alfred Weber, is frustrated, screaming, telling freakish tales and generally behaving like a moron, it would not look good, to say the least. Furthermore, such a video would also prove that the narrative you call false is in fact fact, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You, Alfred, are a blatant liar and are about to be taken to school. That's just in one email to show you. Let me just say. Okay. I want to just go fast forward and just give you, you can go onto the website and read all this stuff for yourself. As I said, it doesn't bring me anything to have to do this, but unfortunately, Alfred is defaming and slandering many, many people, including myself, telling lies, and he's not taking responsibility and accountability for the fact that he has hurt a lot of people and cannot continue to do so. He's using the tribunal to hurt people, maliciously slander people, defame people. And this is not about the cult of personality. This is about the truth. Now, this is another statement from tribunal judges John and Bonnie. If you would have stopped at your resignation from the tribunal is accepted and recorded, you would have done yourself a favor of once being professional and not proving that everything I wrote about you is correct. So, Mr. I'm the rubber and your glue, and your maturity of a 9-year-old child, be well and hopefully not less of a weirdo in the future. How these people stay on your coattail is beyond me. Do you not realize that we all contact each other and talk? You have left a wake of hurt people behind you, people who only wanted to help. After what you just did with your wacky turnaround, reinstatement, he was removing people, reinstating them, removing them, lying about them. It's basically crazy. It says, let me just go back. Let me just go back. Wait. I'm not going to read the whole thing, of course. I just want to give you an illustration of some of the things. We watched time and time again as Alfred attacked others who did not fall lock in step of his oversized ego. He would always say they are deep state or targeted individuals with handlers. He clearly has a handler. Let me go back up here. Okay, so let's see this. To all addressed, we have watched as good judges such as Lena Pooh, who was the 5G expert, came with her own documents ready to work and were turned away in favor of an obvious womanizer who has half-naked women all over his social media, and to this day has not lifted a finger. Like I said, it said we watched time and time again as Alfred attacked others who did not fall lock in step of his oversized ego. It is clear now, if anyone has a handler and has been compromised, it is King Alfred himself. We listened to all these tales in relation to some black pope of all, more poppycock. Then he talks about me. Then he really made our heads spin when we heard he absolutely freaked out during a Zoom call. That was the call with Kemi Imani, and subsequently terminated, not suspended, 7, meaning myself. Then came his disrespectful, unwarranted, downright low blow attack on Clyde, Bonnie and myself, which is John. And these are beautiful people, wonderful people. Shout out to all of them, Clyde, Bonnie and John. We all have evidence we need to prove the following. We find Alfred Lamont Weber to be a manipulator of people, an egomaniac, a liar, a backstabber, and a shamelessly disrespectful man. And so basically, we, Bonnie, John and Bonnie, cannot in good conscience have anything whatsoever to do with this so-called tribunal, which is not and has never been an actual tribunal, but rather something much more akin to a high school clique with King Alfred in charge in the tower, where he only listens to those who have wormed their way to the top of the tower. Basically, it's a damning, this whole judgment is a damning indictment of somebody I absolutely respected to the highest, and it brings me no pleasure to share this information with you, but my allegiance is to the truth, it's not to people. And so if he is abusing people and has been abusing people, I have a duty to bring that information to the people and to stop it. I spent a year building the tribunal, not so that people would be abused. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. We've tried to appeal to Alfred. He's not listening. All he does is abuse people verbally and slander people, and it's got to stop. He's got to stop doing what he's been doing. Now, I want to also share before I sign off, you can actually also look at the website. Just a minute, I just want to show you the website's order. The order, if you go here, and you go back onto the website, you can go onto the order. Now, in the website, we've asked Alfred to produce an affidavit of truth, but under the penalty of perjury, of why he has done what he has done, why he is behaving out of character in the way that he's behaving out of character. We've also asked for a statement in regards to donations, which he's been collecting from the public. Now, he specifically collected donations for me, and I never received 1 penny of those donations. Now, many of you will not know, if you go through this order, you will just basically come down to what is ordered. And you'll see it basically on page 23. You'll see, oh no, the order starts at page 21 of the order. And you'll see that Alfred has been asked to publicly apologize to all the judges that have been mistreated, that he's been rude to, all the people he's been rude to. I'm set up meetings for him to go to share information about the tribunal, only to be told by the Garvey village that he insulted and was shouting at an elder called Vasco. He's done it to allegedly Dave. He was shouting at him. And I've just gone around apologizing over and over again, apologizing to Alfred, for Alfred shouting at people. I don't shout at people in meetings. I just find it unprofessional. And he's never said thank you to me for apologizing on his behalf. He's never apologized to anybody that he shouted to. And it's wrong. It's wrong. You can't go around in professional meetings shouting at people. you know, and not being accountable, not recognizing when you're offending and you're insulting and you're hurting people. It's wrong. Now, the other situation that I want to flag up to your attention is in regards to the actual donations. So I want to bring that to your attention, because it's really important that you stop donating, to Alfred. So let me share the screen again. Should share the screen, sorry, wait a minute. Now, this is an email from Alfred from campaignpeaceinspace.org, which is the Tribunal's web page and email. On the 26th of February 2021, links for Tribunal donations. And so there's a lot of things, donations, judges' survival needs for donations. Now, if you click that link, it will take you to a page whereby there were donations collected specifically for me. It says emergency GoFundMe, peaceinspace.org, Tribunal Judges, Life Survival Needs. There's now arisen a need for crowdfunding for Tribunal Judges Survival Needs, specifically Tribunal Judge 7 from the UK, being served notice to vacate domestic violence refuge where she is staying. And Judge 7 will be homeless and may need assistance with rent payments. So basically, this from February, there was a GoFundMe which had been active and collecting donations on my behalf. And basically, I have not received a single penny. Now, let me just come on to here and come out of here. It's important that you see that. I have not received one single penny. I had to flee the domestic violence refuge because they tried to murder me. I had to flee for my life to a safe place, which is where I am staying at the moment. And shout out to the people who have been safe, protecting me and keeping my safety. Basically, as you could see, I was, a GoFundMe was put together so that it would help me to pay for where I had to move to. I didn't receive any of the payments. Alfred is keeping the donations that have been sent by you good people for himself. He's not giving the donation money to the causes that you are paying for. As you saw, it said it was specifically to help me to pay for safe accommodation. Basically, Alfred took the donation and he has not given me a single penny. He's been collecting donations on my behalf for literally months. And I didn't receive any of it. And so you need to know that this is going on, because he put me in a bad situation. I was told there's money, 7, you know, you go and get a place, we'll get donations from the public so that you can pay for it. And basically, I've repeatedly asked him to give me the money from the donations, and he has refused to give it to me. That constitutes theft and fraud, to take the money, to use me as a mechanism to generate public donations or donations from you good people in the public. And then when it comes down to it, he refuses to hand over those donations. He is making up all kinds of excuses. He has been conducting meetings behind my back. I am a co-founder, and the way that he's treated me is racist. It's racist. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I absolutely loved this man. Everybody knows it. You can watch video after video and you will see that I absolutely adored Alfred. I would sit at home and think about Alfred and I would just smile because he was my favorite person. You know, I would literally, you know, when people said, oh, he shouted at us, he's been rude to us, I just apologize and apologize and apologize. And it got to the point where he's upset so many people, mistreated so many people. And in trying to get him to acknowledge what he's doing and take some accountability, he has literally become a tyrant. And it's not happening. So the reality is we need a tribunal. We need a tribunal because of the fact that we are in a dangerous time. We are dealing with dangerous circumstances. And so we need to have a tribunal, but we need it to be ethical. We need it to be moral, and we need it to be respectful of everybody. We cannot have tribunal judges writing the things that tribunal judges have been writing about Alfred. And the fact that this whole situation has come about, Alfred's changing personality. People don't just change personality. I've known him for 6 years. This was a wonderful, kind, intelligent, truthful man. He's currently endorsing lies. I don't know if he's being threatened by the deep state to do what he's doing. I don't know if he's just become greedy because the tribunal's become internationally recognized. I don't know if it's because we've generated money that he's basically hoarding the money and he's become greedy. I honestly can't tell you. But the order that we have given to Alfred basically stated that he has to provide a statement and return the public's donations to the people it was intended to. Return the donations by the 21st of June, which is today. We've done another order because he has not honored it. We've given him to the 28th of June 2021 to produce an affidavit of truth, apologizing publicly to the public for his misconduct, for abusing, defaming, maliciously mistreating tribunal judges and removing them without any form of investigation and due process. He has to apologize for how he's behaved towards me, which has been absolutely racist. And it's intolerable to me. It's intolerable. So what we have to do is continue as a tribunal. I'm trying to set the record straight, clean up the situation. We have to clean it up because he cannot continue to behave in the way that he's behaving. He is accountable. We are all accountable. I'm accountable. He is abusing people and he thinks because he's an icon and he's a legend and all these people know him and love him and he's a personality that he can get away with mistreating people, and it's absolutely not happening. So we have to have a tribunal. We want to continue as a tribunal. So what we are doing is regrouping, and we are continuing to formulate as a tribunal, weeding out all the people who are corrupt, and we are founding another tribunal, and we will be addressing other issues such as targeting and gang stalking of individuals and many other situations and crimes against humanity besides the COVID situation. So if you want to follow the tribunal updates and the news, you can go to Law Tribunal .hns, H for happy, N for November, S for sugar, .to. So lawtribunal.hns.to. You can contact me if you want to contact me and send some love and support, whatever, to contact at lawtribunal.net. So contact at lawtribunal.net. And as I said, we're going to be expanding the issues that we address as a tribunal. I'm really, really sorry for this announcement, but my commitment is to the truth and the Most High. I cannot and I will not sit there and allow people to take my time and my energy that I spent for a whole year from a domestic violence refuge founding this tribunal, the Natural and Common Law Tribunal for Public Health and Justice. And I want to show you the logo so that you know what tribunal I'm talking about, so that if you see the tribunal, you absolutely do not support it anymore. Do not support it unless it's cleaned up. Until it's cleaned up, do not support it. So I'm just basically gonna find you a logo. Sorry, so that you can actually see what tribunal I'm referring to for all those of you who are not aware of what tribunal I'm talking about. So basically, let's get the logo. Hang on. Just wait 1 second while I find the campaign, the logo. Okay, I'm trying to make the logo bigger. How do I make the logo bigger so that you can see it? All right, let's try this. Okay, that should do it. I want to open it up in a page. Just see if I can do it this way. And there might be a way to do it this way. That's not really gonna work. Maybe I can find it here. Let me just go to maybe. Sorry about this, people. I'm just trying to open up. I have it in front of me. It's just that it's not opening up as it should open up so that you can actually see it clearly and see the entire in its entirety, I should say. And so let me just see. I have, oh my gosh, the logo was actually created by John and Bonnie, and it is actually the intellectual property of John and Bonnie. However, Alfred is carrying on like it's his. It's not actually his. I don't think John and Bonnie want anything further to do with the tribunal after how they've been treated, which is very unfortunate because they're beautiful people and they, you know, they worked really hard, like, as have many tribunal judges. But for any tribunal judge to sit there and say it's okay to mistreat people and think it's okay to abuse people in-house, but out there to be, you know, feeling that they're issuing cease and desist orders. There needs to be cease and desist orders inside the tribunal, which is what has now happened. We've had to issue an order to cease and desist from the lies and deception and the defamation that Alfred is doing. It's like he's lost his mind. I don't know what has happened to him, but he's not the same person that any of us who knew him knew and loved. You know, I honestly loved Alfred deeply. And as I said, it brings me no pleasure to be able to share this or to have to share this, but it's necessary because he's writing lies about people, including me. And that's just not happening. He's using the tribunal to hurt people. And it's not happening. Anyway, I can't see. Let me see if I can do it this way. All right, so let's try. You won't see the whole thing. let's see if I copy image and save image. I'm just trying to do it. Sorry about this. I'm just doing it quickly this way so that I can share it with you. That might be the fastest way to do it. I'm trying to just open up the image and show it to you. See if this is going to work. Okay, I've got it now. Okay, I've got it now. It just has to open up and then I can share it with you. Just so that you know what I'm talking about. Some of you who have been watching my videos will know what the logo looks like, but many of you might not know what the website looks like and what the logo looks like. And so I'm just saying, because if he's collecting donations and he's not giving the money to the intended recipients of the money, it's theft. It's theft. He's carrying on like the money is for him, and he's putting the information out that he's collecting money on behalf of. He put it out that he was collecting money on behalf of me. Okay, this is the logo, and he hasn't given me one single penny of it. So anyway, let me share the screen. Okay, that's the Tribunal website logo, and obviously the website, for those of you who know and those of you who don't know, is peaceinspace.org. If you see that Tribunal logo on any document, and you need to get this around the world, particularly in the Caribbean, because he has been engaging the Caribbean, and unless he deals with us, the people that he's abused and wronged, he has no business going anywhere else until he addresses the fact that what he's done is wrong. I am, as a co-founder, have a right to ensure that people are treated with love and respect, and he has not been treating people with love and respect. So that's the actual Tribunal logo. Do not, I repeat, do not support this Tribunal if you see this logo, and do not donate to them, because the money is not going where it is intended to go. Until he behaves and addresses the abuse of people, we have to stop the situation. So anyway, I send love to everybody. I'm really sorry to have to share this information, but it's necessary. It's necessary. You know, he doesn't seem to understand. He doesn't understand if you donate to a specific person, that it's for that person. He used me as a poster person for the Tribunal because he knows I'm respected and in the global community, and then didn't give me the money, put me in a really bad situation. And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that he thinks that I would spend a whole year founding a tribunal with my blood, sweat, and tears, and thinks that he can use defamation to remove me and every other tribunal judge that is credible, has integrity, and is authentic. It's not happening. That tribunal is deep state, people. Know that. It's deep state. But we're going to continue as a tribunal, and you can stay up to date with Tribunal news on lawtribunal.hns.to. So we're going to be covering natural and common law. We're also going to be covering everything to do with the violations around targeted individuals, and we will be forming as a tribe. A tribunal of conscience is a tribe of people who come together, people who come together to protect and support each other. And that's what we came together to do. I'm also going to be launching my own network. It's going to have a lot of music, live artists, etc. So stay tuned for that as well. I want to send peace and love to everybody and gratitude for all of you people who donated to me. I'm really sorry I didn't get it. And, you know, you should write to Alfred at peaceinspace.org and say, give the people the money that it was sent for. Tell him to stop abusing tribunal judges and to take accountability for his actions. You should write to Alfred, and actually it might be the only way to appeal to him at this stage. As I said, this is a man that I loved, absolutely loved, worked with for 6 years, but he sold the tribunal out to the deep state. That's the reality of the situation. I don't want no parts of it. No parts of deep state, no parts of COINTELPRO. I don't want a part of it. And so we have no choice but to regroup and continue as a tribunal, whereby we can screen and vet people and make sure that they are genuine and they're legitimate. We're talking to all sorts of people right now to build a very strong tribunal that will be able to protect people. So much love to everybody, and deep apologies for this announcement again. And I will keep you posted. If you want to send me a message, it's at contact@lawtribunal.net. And stay up to date with any tribunal news on lawtribunal.hns.to. Peace out, everyone. Much love.